Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be murdered.
The reason why words like racism, homophobia, misogyny, Islamophobia, they've lost its meaning in today's political discourse. They've lost its meaning because people now use it to stifle speech. People now use it to label anybody they don't agree with as racist, as misogynistic, as Islamophobic. If you criticize Muslims or criticize the extremists in Islam, you are an Islamophobe. If you criticize the extremes in the trans community or something the trans community does at large, you are transphobic. If you disagree or criticize anything the gay community does, you're homophobic. If you actually try to correct the black community, you're automatically racist. So, in the light of the person, I won't even say the person, the murder and the blood-coded assassination of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was assassinated in Utah, shot on the neck. There is a pastor Howard Wesley, that's been going around making rounds on social media about how Charlie Kirk is racist and every other thing. I want us to watch the clip, then I'll give my take on that.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be murdered. But I'm overwhelmed to see the nation's flag fly at half staff for a man who was a proud racist and spent his entire life sowing seeds of division and hatred into this land. And then these hypocrites with selective rage who are mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't say anything about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were gunned down in their living room. Tell me that I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who never showed compassion or respect for my life. Y'all, there's nowhere in Bible we are told to honor evil. And I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but how you died does not redeem how you lived. Your death does not make you a hero. It does not make you one who should be honored. It does not make you one who should be respected. I can be sorry about your death, but...
Now, this is the problem, especially those on the left in the black community. I'm sure this same pastor loves abortion, loves feminism, loves all the, vices that Charlie Kirk was preaching against. You cannot tell me Charlie Kirk is racist because he said certain offensive truth about black people. The problem is they're not even saying that he's right or wrong. They're just calling him racist. If you ask them, what racist thing has Charlie Kirk said? They'll say he's saying that the black community commits majority of the violent crimes. Is it true? Yes. 30% of the population, which is the black community, somehow commits majority of the violent crimes. It's not Charlie Kirk that made up the statistics. This is just a fact. Are you getting me? Charlie Kirk is against reparation. Me, I'm against reparation too, because you can't expect current day white people, when it was only 2% of the white people then owned slaves. Can't expect the current day white person that did not own slaves, or maybe his family didn't even own slaves, to contribute his own money to pay you reparations as a black person that is not affected by slavery today. You are in the biggest country in the world, the biggest GDP in the world, and you still complain about slavery every day. When America is not even systematically, racist anymore. During the Jim Crow, and the funny thing, the clip that are taken out of context, during the Jim Crow era, when the black community was even forced to be together as a nuclear family, they even did better in America than they are doing now. In the light of the civil rights movement, the Great Society Act by LBJ, whereby single mothers were now incentivized to have kids, and the fathers were chased out of the home. This is crazy. It is not racism to point out this pattern. And the last thing he said about George Floyd, not celebrating somebody's death or just celebrating because he died. These same people made George Floyd like a matter, made this guy like he was a saint after he died. Yes, the death of somebody, even death of George Floyd, even he was a felon, he was a robber, he did despicable things. But I still don't celebrate the death of a man in that circumstance. I still don't celebrate, but you people celebrated the death of George Floyd that was a felon, that was a menace to society, and somehow you celebrated his death, made it into a political political issue, and burnt cities. And then people were donating money because of white guilt and everything. People treat people to donate money to BLM, and they did not use that money to enrich the black community. Many of them are facing, jail terms because of fraud that they allegedly used that money to commit. So this is the problem in the black community. If you are saying that the death of George Floyd should be celebrated, who was a felon, a very very bad example in the society, how come Charlie Kirk, that was bringing people back to Christianity, and you're a pastor? What were the values of Charlie Kirk? He didn't like feminism, he didn't like single motherhood, he didn't like trans agenda, and all these things that are basically should be entrenched in the Christian values. This pastor should be ashamed of himself, and the black people on the left celebrating the death of the political assassination and public execution of this young man that was aged 31 should be ashamed of themselves. And that's all I'm going to say about that.